DBJ here again, still sticking with my house rules. This one's going to be a lot more crunchy, so just bear with me, all right? Here's the idea, um, and I will make break this up specifically for Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. First, let me start with 5th edition, simply because that just happens to be on my mind. Um, in 5th edition, I'm calling something AID, or aid system, and the aid system in 5th edition is advantage, inspiration, and disadvantage. And not to get into specifics, but essentially it's rolling twice and taking either the highest or lowest number, specifically with a d20, but I'm using this to refer to any die roll, right? And here's just follow me on this, all right? In the armor rules for D&D 5th edition, instead of getting a bonus to your AC, so for example, when you look up chainmail, it doesn't say a bonus of +3 or +4. In D&D 5th edition, they have a flat number, flat DC. And so plate mail, I believe, is like 18, chainmail is like 14, maybe scale mail's 15, something like that. All right, and then with a shield, the shield has just a bonus, +2. You know, for AC bonuses, you take your dex bonus, which would be +1 or +3. So follow me on this. In Dungeons and Dragons, armor class is based on your speed, which is usually your dexterity. You get a bonus on that. You also get possibility of having bonuses based on your class to your AC. And classically, you also get bonuses on your AC based on magic as well as the armor. But in D&D 5th edition, they don't have a bonus, they just have a number. So instead of using that number as a difficulty to do damage to you, imagine this. All right, you have a character, they get a dex bonus of +2. All right? So instead of a 10, difficulty of 10 to hit them, they just get the +2. But they're wearing heavy armor. Let's say that heavy armor, again, I tend not to have books open in front of me. I'm not going to do it this time. So I'm going to say plate mail has an armor class of 18. So when the player gets hit and they're wearing plate mail, what if instead of using that as a difficulty, basing it off of 18, it's just based off of 10? They get their dex bonus if possible. I believe in plate mail, I think the maximum is a bonus of +2. I'm not sure. You may not be able to get any dex bonus according to 5th edition. But when the player is hit, this is how an option to adjudicate damage. The player rolls a d20 and must roll equal to or less than the armor class of the armor. If they make it, the damage has disadvantage. So let me repeat that. All right. Instead of the armor class being a difficulty to quote unquote hit them, all they get is their dex bonus, unless the armor slows them down enough that they don't even get that. But if they're hit, they roll a d20 and must roll the d20 of the armor or below. If they have a shield, you would add +2 to that, or whatever the bonus of the shield is. So if they have plate mail on, believe it's 18, with a shield of +2, that would be 20. That means they would automatically make it. The damage would have disadvantage. So if, as a dungeon master, if you roll 3 dice, instead you would roll 6 dice and take the 3 lowest dice. Whatever the damage would be, you double those number of dice, you roll it, and you take the lowest ones. All right. Now, complications with this, of course. This would mean using this rule, using the AID system, the disadvantage where you roll twice as many dice, you take the lowest ones, in this case for using armor. The idea is that you would be separating how fast characters are versus how the potential of the armor to stop damage. So an armor class would not represent both speed and durability. You would just use only their speed factor, and then after they are hit, you would roll, the player would roll d20 and roll the armor class equal to or below that, and then they would just take disadvantage on the damage. Now, here come the problems, because I know some people are going, well, damn, that means someone who's armored, beginning player, hey, as soon as I can get plate mail and the shield, hell, not only do I have the highest hit points because I'm probably a fighter type, but now I'm not taking any damage and everybody else is a squishy. All right. Here's a couple rules. One would be that all crits, whether they do substantial damage or not, will reduce armor class by 1. Every time you're hit by a crit, it's reducing damage by 1. Little side note. Sophie back there, Sophia Loren, she's not there for my videos to be click-worthy. If I were to close her out, she'd probably make too much noise. So she just likes to hang around, okay? That's not why she's there. She's not a thumbnail attractor. Really, Kitty? Really? I'm very sorry. Anyway, disadvantage on die rolls when the player rolls a d20 of their armor class or below. This adds another die roll. But I believe at lower levels, this would allow you to, some players to survive a little longer, because 5th edition is rather lethal. If someone wants to add a little bit more, I don't know, oomph behind their character, it would be kind of cool. And of course, magic armor, magic shields would add to this. So if they had to roll a d20 or below, there's a good chance they wouldn't have to roll at all. But crits reduce that down. Now I'm going to take a special point on this about shields. Shields do two things. They both prevent you from being hit, and they also reduce damage. Okay? So I would make the choice that shields do add to armor class to not be hit, and they also add to the roll to reduce the damage. That makes shields pretty powerful. I believe shields are quite useful in combat. You could play a character, say, like, a Spartan from 300 and use a shield. So if your shield is +2, you get a +2 bonus to your armor class. And on the back end, you could roll, the character can roll, getting a slight chance to reduce the damage down to having it, giving the damage a disadvantage. I know it's a mouthful, sorry, but it's the best I can do. So now I'm going to go to Pathfinder. All right, so Pathfinder, how would you do that? Well, Pathfinder, they still use the classic way where armor is a bonus. So like chainmail's like +5 or 6 or something. Plate mail's like +9. Shields gain a +1 or +2 or +3. What I would do in that situation is you would have your armor class of all your speed factors not to be hit, and then you would have your armor class of let me see if I get this straight. And then you would have your armor class of resisting damage. I would give a base, either a DC of 15, or I might even use the spell failure percentages to reduce damage. And I would say the bonuses would subtract from the damage that you take. So if you get a shield that's +2, your chainmail, like I said, I'm coming off the top of my head, I believe is +5 or +6. So you get a 5 plus 2 would be a 7. So there's a potential that you could reduce 7 points of damage off of your character. Roll the dice. Need to beat a 15. You roll d20 plus 7. If you beat a 15, it reduces 7 points of damage. I didn't want to do a flat armor just reduces damage completely, meaning like a shield automatically reduces 2 points of damage, or chainmail automatically reduces 5 points of damage, because automatics to me can be a little bit power heavy, and I believe Pathfinder has enough patches in it to not have to worry about that. But I love I'm not a big fan of having speed and durability mixed together. I like armor should happen after you're hit, and speed should happen so that you're not hit. And Dungeons and Dragons has always had that problem with me. So anyway, also spell failure chances. I was also thinking that you could use the idea that under Pathfinder, when you look at the armor rules, there's a percentage chance that spells will fail if you are a wizard wearing armor. You could use those same percentages as the chance of the damage being reduced. So, I believe plate mail is like 40% chance the spell will fizzle. Instead, a fighter wearing plate mail, you roll percentage. If you roll 40% or below, it reduces the damage by the bonus of the armor. Okay, got that out. Now, all of this is presuming that you are using a system where speed is one thing, and then damage absorption is something else. Speed is one, damage is something else. So fast characters don't get hit, but characters wearing armor can get hit. They just wouldn't take damage from the hit. And this is where you would have to, as a dungeon master and as players, to accept the fact that, for example, someone throws flaming oil, Molotov cocktail at your character. One character is a rogue and they're quick. Roll to hit. They roll their armor class because they get their dex bonus in there, maybe some other speed factors in there. They don't get hit. The fighter class character has a shield and some chainmail or some plate mail. They get hit. The enemy throws the flaming oil at them. Because they're in heavy armor, they don't get much of a bonus, so they're easier to hit. The flaming oil falls over top of them. Instead, what happens is the DR, the damage rating or durability rating of their armor, prevents them from getting hurt. They are still on fire. There's fire on the shield. There may be fire on their arm. Some oil splashed onto their helmet. They may be on fire for a couple of rounds. If another player doesn't put it out, maybe the wizard casts a cold cantrip to try to put the fire out. But each round, as damage is done, the durability of the armor may reduce the damage to nothing. The oil may fall through the cracks and burn them anyway. It might be on the shield and they can throw the shield down, etc. So yes, Crunchy, sorry, create, don't destroy. I'm out.